I'm getting confirmation the ground propellant feed has been terminated. We'll have one more umbilical to separate. And there you can see the engines now firing. The launch command issued. These engines now ramping up.
Engine turbo pumps at flight speed. Engines at max.
And liftoff. Mark Vande, Alexander Misurkin, and Joe Acaba lifting off and now on their way to the International Space Station.
10 seconds.
A little over 10 seconds already into the flight, getting good first stage performance. Soyuz delivering about 930,000 pounds of thrust from those 4 boosters and the core engine.
We're 40 seconds and the vehicle is stable.
Continuing to get good calls. The vehicle's stable. Everything looking great as it sears across the Kazakh sky there, burning an image across the black. This first stage going to burn liquid fuel for the first 2 minutes and 6 seconds into the flight.
60 seconds. Yaw, pitch, roll are nominal.
So the yaw, the pitch, the roll, everything determining the attitude of the rocket, basically which way it's pointing, all looking good. Continuing to get good first stage performance from the Soyuz rocket.
$80 seconds. Booster motion control system parameter.
And at this point, the vehicle already moving in excess of 1,100 miles per hour. We're a little over a minute and a half into the flight since liftoff. Still getting good calls on vehicle performance, everything looking great. The next major milestone coming up is going to be that escape tower actually being jettisoned. And just got confirmation the escape tower has been jettisoned. And getting a great view there, you just saw the 4 strap-on boosters have been jettisoned, their job complete. Soyuz already at an altitude of about 28 statute miles, traveling at over 3,350 miles per hour.
130 seconds, the vehicle is stable.
So we're over 2 minutes now since the launch. Everything looking great. The first stage has done its job. Those 4 strap-on boosters have dropped away. That single core engine now continuing to fire. Getting confirmation from the visiting vehicle officer here that the launch shroud has been jettisoned. So the Soyuz spacecraft now exposed. The rocket's altitude about 48 miles high. And at this point in the flight, as we just passed 3 minutes, the Soyuz already traveling at speeds in excess of 4,700 miles per hour. And again, the core stage is the second stage, continuing to perform as expected.
190 seconds.
It's 56 feet in length, 13.5 in diameter, and has a single engine with 4 fuel chambers that provide between 178,000 and 222,000 pounds of thrust, depending on the altitude, for its 3 minutes and 28 seconds of operation. This stage is going to continue to burn until about the 4-minute, 43-second mark. Then the Soyuz will be ready to do what's called a hot stage technique, and that's when the third stage will ignite while the second is still burning. That's why, if you remember views of that rocket, there's that lattice structure, that open area between the second and third stages. And we've just crossed 4 minutes since launch.
Seconds. 250 seconds. Yaw, pitch, roll are nominal. Everything is nominal on board. The crew is feeling fine.
As you heard, the crew doing fine, getting an unprecedentedly long view of the Soyuz. A very clear night there in Baikonur. And here a view inside there. You can see Acaba. A smile, the crew doing well as the rocket continues to send them into orbit. The second stage still going. And confirmation the second stage has separated successfully.
We also saw the separation of stage 2, and everything is nominal on board. 310 seconds.
And so at this point, the second stage has dropped away. The core booster separates at an altitude of about 105 miles. The Soyuz spacecraft now being propelled by the single engine of the Soyuz's third stage. That's going to provide 67,000 pounds of thrust and burn for about 4 minutes and 2 seconds. So the first two stages complete. The third and final stage of the climb to orbit now underway. Everything continuing to go very smoothly with this flight. Crew on board doing well, and the Soyuz continuing its climb to orbit.
– 380 seconds of flight. Third stage thrusters operate nominally. Everything is nominal on board, and the crew is feeling fine.
So we're well over 6 minutes now. The crew, the rocket, all doing well.
– 420 seconds. Your pitch roll on nominal. Everything is nominal on board. The crew is feeling fine.
So over 7 minutes now, approaching the 7.5 minute mark soon. And the velocity of the rocket already about 13,500 miles an hour. Getting calls down from Misurkin, the crew doing well. You can see Vande at the top of your screen, Misurkin there in the commander's seat. And then just above him is that Sputnik model, which keep your eye on it after the third stage cuts off and separates. We should see that start to float. And once the third stage is done and delivers the Soyuz to orbit, the spacecraft will again execute all of those pre-programmed commands to get out a number of antennas and deploy the solar arrays. Again, the third stage should fire until about the 8-minute and 45-second mark post-launch. So we should be approaching that very soon.
510 seconds. 520.
And there, the telltale jolt, that tells us that the third stage has cut off, getting confirmation it has separated. And confirmation of Soyuz spacecraft separation, the Soyuz now in orbit.
This is Baikonur lead. Congratulations on the successful insertion, and I would like to give the floor to Mission Control Moscow. Yes, we confirm the separation. Everything was nominal. Thank you very much, and we're working with Moscow Mission Control. Now, this is Mission Control Moscow. How to copy? These are Altairs. We copy you loud and clear. That's great. We are standing by for your KO report, and we are waiting for standing by for further operations. Copy all.
And again, a successful orbital insertion. The Soyuz now in orbit and got confirmation all of the antennas and the solar arrays have deployed successfully. So textbook launch for this rocket today, delivering the crew into its initial orbit of about 126 statute miles. The third stage cut off as we saw the crew get a bit of a jolt there and dropped away. It performs an avoidance maneuver by opening a valve on its liquid oxygen tank and then falls back through the Earth's atmosphere. But the Soyuz now in its preliminary orbit, and that orbit is going to get raised over the next 6 hours. Control has now been passed over to the Russian Mission Control Center in Koryov. We're going to oversee these 3 crew members as they chase down the International Space Station.